Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from the IT Visualizer channel. Today we'll continue our lab, the Tron Legacy Lab. This is the fourth video. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have been discussing that we have a login script, an Active Directory login script that will be applied to any Active Directory user accessing the domain on any PC, okay, or accessing with his username on any PC in the domain. This login script will add two languages, English and Arabic keyboard layout to the user as soon as he logs in with his Active Directory user, and then he will hide the search toolbar and then change the performance option of Windows and log off the user after 3000 seconds of idle activity on his PC. So it will, if the PC is not used for 3000 seconds, okay, it will be logged off, and then it will change the time zone to Cairo. All of this will be implemented the first time the user log into the domain. Okay, so this is the login script. We have been discussing how this will be implemented, and we did this already and we tested it, and then we copied the login script to the sysvol folder under subfolder called scripts. So the login script, it will be under C Windows sysvol scripts folder. This is the location of the login script. Okay, and we have created the Active Directory users computers of the Tron Legacy domain, okay, using PowerShell scripts. So we have created Active Directory users and groups, and we have put the Active Directory users in certain groups, okay, using and we have created computers and servers, all of this using the PowerShell script, and also we have discussed how this is done. And then we have an Active Directory group called encom users. This is the IT group. The IT group, we have put this group to be a member of an Active Directory built-in group called domain admins and enterprise admins and schema admins. Okay, so these are three Active Directory built-in groups. We make our IT Active Directory group a member of these three Active Directory built-in groups: domain admins, enterprise admins and schema admins. Why we are doing this? To give the IT full control over the Active Directory and domain. Okay, and then at the end we have attach the login script to all of the Active Directory users. So for the Active Directory login script to be applied to the users, we need to copy the login script to the C Windows sysvol scripts folder. This is the first part, and the second part, we need to select all of our Active Directory users, and in the properties section or in the properties of the Active Directory users, okay, we will check on the login script field and put the name of the script. So the Active Directory users will know which is the name of the script and where is the location of the script from the field of login, okay, in the Active Directory user properties. Okay, so I will show you all something like this. Here we can see that here is this location. So here we can see, for example, that this is we need to select all of the Active Directory users. So this is an Active Directory user, and this is the properties of this Active Directory user. So we'll have our 70 Active Directory users. We'll select them on, and in their properties we will put in the login script field the name of the script, and the Active Directory user knows how to get this script. So you can only to provide him with the name, and as for the location of the script, he knows that it is in C Windows sysvol scripts. Okay, so this also we have discussed in the previous video, and then we test this login script with an Active Directory user. So we have done all of this, and we need to log in with an Active Directory user to see if the login script will be applied. And at the end we begin creating different group policies. Okay, and we discussed about 7 group policies, and one of them we will use it, which is the default domain policy, to force a certain background and screensaver and the theme and the lock screen to all users of the Active Directory on all PCs in the domain. Okay, so if any user logged in with his Active Directory user account on any PC, he will see a certain background, a certain screensaver, a certain lock screen. Okay, and he cannot change it. Okay, so all of this we have done it, and we have tested it already, okay, in the previous video. Okay, and for more info, if you are not accommodated, or you still feel that this is not clear to you, please refer to my previous labs, something like the DC Comics lab, the Mass Effect lab, the Marvel and DC United lab, and the Transformers lab. Okay, so in this video we'll discuss how we will create a DHCP, okay, and use it, okay, to distribute IPs to our clients in the domain, or our workstations in the domain. And we will create department shares and user home directory folders. We will discuss this in this video, and if you need to know more info about the DHCP and the department shares and user home directory folders in details, okay, you can refer to, as I said before, to my previous labs, the one that I have been that I have mentioned before, because in this video I will discuss them in brief, because I have discussed this more than once. Okay, so here we will begin our video. So here we will have our domain controller. So we will create also the department shares and the user home directory folders, okay, using PowerShell scripts. Here we will log into the domain controller, and we will begin creating, or we will install the DHCP server role on this domain controller. As a best practice, you need to put the DHCP role on a separate server than the domain controller. So it's a best practice to put your DHCP away from your domain controller. If you have a separate server, okay, you can put the DHCP on it, okay, but if you have only one server, okay, then you can put your DHCP and the domain controller on one server. But if you have more than one server, then it is best practice to separate your domain controller on one server and your DHCP on another server. So just a minute, because I think my, okay, here you go. I think we can pause it real quickly. So here this is our domain controller, and this is the background that we have applied using a group policy, and our login script was working perfectly. It has added the different things that we have been discussing. It added the 2 keyboard layouts, and it changes the time zone to Cairo, and all that we have been discussing in the previous video. So now we will begin installing the DHCP server role. I think we can pause it real quickly, just a moment. Okay, so this is our custom console. We are just checking the Wins server service. And our Active Directory. So it's just a normal check on our infrastructure. So now we need to go to manage and add server role, and we need to add the DHCP. So manage, and then add roles and features, and then next, and then next, and then we need to add the DHCP server, and also we will add the file server role. So we will add 2 things. We will add the DHCP and the file server role. We have discussed before in the previous playlist what is a DHCP and what is a server role. Okay, and as I said before, if you need to know more, please about the file server and the DHCP server roles in details, please refer to my Mass Effect lab, the Transformers lab, the DC Comics lab, and Marvel and DC United. So here we are installing the DHCP server role and the file server role. So here, as we can see, that the Wins server seems to be, or the Wins server is not working, so it seems the Wins service is not running. So we will just right click and restart the service. Sorry, because I have a cold flu. So here you can see it's not responding. I think we can pause it anyway, but it will be discussed now. Just a minute. So I just close the custom console and open it again to see if the Wins server will be running. We have restarted the Wins server because it was not running, and then I closed the console and open it just to make sure that the Wins is working and running. So anyway, we have installed our DHCP server and file server. Now we will configure DHCP. We need to authorize it. Okay, we have discussed before what is authorization. We need to authorize the DHCP using my domain admin account. Okay, or Karim Raouf is a domain admin now, so I used my domain admin Active Directory account to authorize this DHCP server. And now we need to add the DHCP console and the file server console to our custom console. So we will go and add snap in. We will go and snap in, or remove snap in. We will add the DHCP, and then we will add the file server role, okay, or the file server console. So we add the DHCP console and the file server resource manager console, okay. So here we will begin configuring the DHCP. We have authorized it, okay, to give IPs. Now we need to configure something called the scope, okay, the IP scope, okay, the range of IPs, okay, that the DHCP will distribute to the clients or the workstation. So right click IP version 4 and tell him new scope, and then we will name this scope. Okay, we name it income mainframe IP range. So this is the range of IPs that will be distributed to our workstations. For example, we will distribute from 10.0.1.20, for example, until 10.0.1.50, for example. So we have about 30 IPs we need to distribute. So we will have a start IP address from 10.0.1.20. It depends upon the number of workstations and servers, or especially the number of your workstations in the domain. According to this, you will define what is the start IP address and what is the end IP address, okay. So here we have from 50 to 80, and then we need a subnet mask to 255, 255, 255. This is a class C IP address, okay. So the subnet mask is 24 bit, and this is 255, 255, 255, and then next, and then need to configure. Then we don't have a gateway, and we have a DNS and a Wins. This domain controller is DNS and Wins as well. as so this server is a domain controller and DNS server and Wins server, and then we will enable two filters, which is allow filter and deny filter in the DHCP configuration. We have discussed before what is the function of the allow filter and what is the function of the deny filter. Through these two filters you will control which workstations take IP address from the DHCP according to their network card MAC address. Okay, here we will begin, or we'll create two folders. One that will be the location, or this folder will be the folder that will contain all of our users home directory folders, and the other folder will be the folder that will contain all of the department shares, or all of our department folders shared. Okay, so we have our identity disk. This is the folder that will contain all of our Active Directory user home directory folders. Okay, and then the folder which is called logs, this is the folder that will contain all of our department share folders. Okay, and the identity disk, this here I am referring to, you remember if in the Tron Legacy movie, every program has a disk or something called identity disk. This disk contains all of the information concerning this program or this user. Okay, so here we are assuming that the user home directory folders, they are resembling the identity disk, or they are the same function as the identity disk. Okay, so here this folder will contain all of our Active Directory user home directory folders, and the other one will contain all of our department folders or department shared folders. Okay, so we need to share this folder so all of our Active Directory users can access it to access their user home directory folders. Okay, so we need to share it, and we need, when the department shares or the department folders will be done, we need to share them as well, so the department for example IT can access its department shared folder, which is called IT. We will go this, or we will reach this when it is the time. So just we need to know that these are two folders. One will contain the user home directory folder, so here we will share it. We need to share it. Okay, and then permissions, and we need to remove everyone and then add the group which is called income all grid and domain users. So income all grid contain all of my Active Directory users, and the domain users group also contains all of my Active Directory users, and they will give them full control on this folder. Okay, so why we are doing this? We are doing this so every Active Directory user can access his user home directory folder. Okay, so here we'll add domain users and income all grid group, and we will give both of them permissions of full control, and we will add the IT group and give them also full control. Okay, so this is for the SMB share permissions. As for the NTFS share permissions, we will add the same group and give them the same rights. Okay, so here guys, I just need to first of all, yes, we will add these we will add the same groups. Okay, and give them the same permissions, but through NTFS share permissions. So here we will add income all grid and domain users and income users Active Directory groups, and give them all the permission of full control. Why we are doing this? So the Active Directory users can access their user home directory folders. Okay, so we have done this. We have shared them and give them SMB share permissions, and we give them also NTFS share permissions. Okay, So here I need to show you all a little bit of a graph here. This is the graph of the user home directory folders. So here what we will do, just a moment, here this is our domain controller. We will add the file server role on it, and we have done it already, and this is the hard disk of the file server. We will have we will create user home directory folders for every Active Directory user. So every user in the Active Directory will have his own user home folder, or his own folder that he can put his personal data on it. This will be the folders, and they will be named according to the Active Directory usernames, and this will be shared. Okay, so the users can access these folders. They need to be shared, and we will give every shared folder, okay, a certain user to access it. For example, this is Karim Raouf folder, so this will be shared, and you will give the Active Directory user K Raouf full control over this folder, okay, using the SMB share permissions, okay, and the NTFS share permissions. So these are the hard disk. The folders or the user home directory folders will be created, they will be shared, and every user will have full control over his shared folder using two type of permissions: the NTFS share permissions, the blue one, and the SMB share permissions. Okay, so these are the two type of permissions. This is simply what we will do. We will do it how we will do this. We will do it using a script. So we'll have our main folder, which will, this is in our case is called identity disk. This is the folder that will contain all of our Active Directory user home directory folders, and they will be created and will be given, as I said before, the different permissions. Okay, so they will be created and given, everyone will be given a certain permission over his folder. So Karim will have full control over his user home directory folder, Vision will have control of over his home user directory folder, and so on. So all of this will be done using a script. So the script will create the user home directory folders, will give and will share them, and will give every user full control over his shared folder. And not also this, it will map this user home directory folder as letter drive L. Okay, so how this also can be explained after executing the script. If we go to any Active Directory user, we can see that the home folder, there is some setting is selected, so we can see that it will home folder will be mapped as an L drive, and this will be the location of the user home folder. Okay, the user home directory folder, and its name will be named according to the username of the user. So if my Karim Raouf Active Directory user, its username is K Raouf, my home folder will be named K Raouf. How this also can be explained, or how it will appear, it will appear like this. Here this is Widow, so this is an Active Directory user, its username, or this is Widow, okay, or this is Natasha Romanov, and her Active Directory user is called Widow. So her home or her user home directory folder will be named Widow. Okay, and it will be mapped as an L drive, and later we can see that we can have a quota or set a quota on the user home directory folder, so it can put certain data or certain limit of data. So it can put, for example, on this user home directory folder a data of total of 2 GB, for example. It cannot put more than 2 GB on the user home directory folder. So this is basically the user home directory folder process creation. So now we need to see it live. So now we will go to the script that will create the user home directory folders. So we'll open the script, and we have a script called create home. We will edit it. We need to just change the locations of the Excel sheet, because there is a text file that this script will go and read from it the Active Directory usernames, so he can create for every Active Directory username a user home directory folder. Okay, so here we just need to change. Okay, this is the text file that will contain the Active Directory users. Okay, that this script needs to create for every Active Directory username an Active Directory user home directory folder. Okay, so here we can see that the path of the user home directory folders, it will be on this on the shared folder that we have been doing from a couple of seconds. So it will be here. So all of our user home directory folders will be on this shared folder. And as for the text file that will contain the Active Directory usernames, so the script can go and see how much Active Directory usernames we have, and according to this he will create for every Active Directory username a user home directory folder. Okay, so this is the location, and then we will save, and then we will execute the script. And according to this script, every Active Directory username will have full control over his user home directory folder. Okay, so we will run it. So now if we go to any Active Directory user and see its properties, we will see that the home folder section, it is now filled with some selections, as I have shown you all in the screenshot. For example, here if we go to the programs organizational unit and then we get the Bitdefender and then we go to the profile, we can see that it will have an L, it will map an L drive, and the name of the user home folder will be according to his Active Directory username. So this is also his home folder will be named according to his Active Directory username. So now we need to go and create a couple of folders. Okay, so here this is the second part of creating department shares. Okay, so we need for every department to have a shared folder or a folder on our file server, so this department can put its important data on our folder on our file server. How this also is done, we can show you a little bit of a graph. So here we can see, for example, that this is the file server, and then we have our file server hard disk. We will have for every department a folder, so every department can put its important data on this folder on our hard disk of our file server, and then after creating this folder we will share them. Okay, and give every Active Directory department group control over its department share. Okay, so for example, the IT can access its IT shared folder, the HR can access its HR shared folder, and so on. And we will control what this group will do to this folder using NTFS permissions and SMB share permissions. For example, here the IT group will have full control over its shared folder using NTFS permissions and and SMB share permissions. As for example, the HR will have change permission on the HR folder using SMB share permissions, and modify permissions on the HR shared folder. So this is basically what we will do. We will use a script to create these folders automatically for the departments. Okay, and then another script. So let's show you all what is this, how this will be done. This will be done using a script. So what we will do, we will create a folder that will contain all of our department folders. Okay, so this will be logs in our case, and then we will use a script okay, to create these department folders. This is a script, and then we will use two scripts. One script, it will share these folders, okay, and give them SMB share permissions on these folders. So this SMB share permission script, it will share these folders and giving them the green one permissions, and it will remove every one group from this shares, okay. So because every one group should be removed, because it's not recommended to leave them, okay. So SMB share permissions, you need to remove the everyone group from the SMB share permissions, and then we will add every Active Directory group to its shared folder and give them the respective permission. For example, here we can see that the IT folder, also the HR folder, will have SMB share permissions. For the Active Directory HR group will have change permission, okay. So here are the script. This script will share the folders and give them SMB share permissions, and another script will be NTFS share permissions. It will give them NTFS share permissions, okay. So these are two scripts we will use to give certain permissions to certain Active Directory groups on certain shared folders, okay. So at the end, what we will see, that every department will have a certain folder to put its things on it. I need, for example, if Voodoo it is a member of the HR group, I needed to see the department share of HR to be mapped as a network map drive, okay, and to be named as HR, and to be given letter M, the same as the user home directory folder, but it is given L. Here I need the department share to be mapped as a network drive and named HR according to the name of the department, and to be given letter M, okay. This, and also to have a quota on it. This will be done. As for the mapping to a network map drive and HR and to be given M, this will be done using a mapping group policy. We have been discussing this. For example, here this is the department share of the HR. It will be given letter or mapped as letter M, okay, and it will be named as HR. So we can see it in this type, okay. We will also discuss this in this video, how this will done. I will show you all how this is done, and through the file server quota we will have quota on the department shares and the user home directory folders, okay. So all of this I have discussed before in the Mass Effect lab, the DC Comics lab, the Transformers lab, and the Marvel and DC United lab. So please refer to them. Here what I am doing here, I am using a script to create department folders, okay, for different departments. This is a script. It will create the department folders, and another script, it will share the department folders and put respective permissions on them, okay. So let's begin. So here we will create 3 department folders: users and programs, or users log and programs log and global logs, okay. So now we run the script to create department folders. I am telling him to create a couple of department folders in a certain main folder, which will be the folder called logs. So here, this is the location of, there is a text file that this script will go and see how much folders I need to create and their names. So in a text file called folders, and this is the main folder that the subfolders will be created in it. So the script needs 2 things: needs the text file that will contain the subfolders names and location, and the location of the main folder that the main folder that the subfolders will be created in it. So now we save and then we execute the scripts, we can see here that 3 folders are created. If we go to the logs folder, we can see here that 3 folders are created. So now we need to create to the department, we need to create the department shares and put NTFS share permission and the SMB share permissions on it. So we will use our 2 scripts. The first script will create the SMB share permissions and put the SMB share permissions on it, and then the NTFS share permissions. So here we will have our sorry, this is the NTFS share permissions. I think we need first to create the SMB share permissions. So this is not the first step. I think I need to pass it real quickly for you guys because this is not the case. First of all, I need to also, in the NTFS share permissions, we need to change the location, because the NTFS share permissions also will use here I am telling him to put certain NTFS share permissions on certain folders in this main folder, okay, and the subfolders and their names are in this text file, okay. So we need to just change the locations and then save it, okay, and then we will have the SMB share permissions. But let me pass it real quickly. So here we will go to the, just a moment, here we will go to the SMB share permissions. Okay, so now what we will do, we will run a script to create the SMB shares and the SMB share permissions. So here now we will go to the scripts, and then we will go SMB and then edit, and then we need to execute now this script. So after executing this script, the department folders will be shared, and every Active Directory group will have certain permissions on its shared department folder. So now I will show you all something. If we go to the but first let's also execute the NTFS share permissions. So we have done the SMB share permissions, and then we will execute also the script that will add the NTFS share permissions, and after that we will go and see the different permissions put on every department folder. Okay, so now we need to execute the script. Okay, now we need to go and see the different permissions that are added. So let's go here, just a moment. So here we will go, after executing the 2 scripts, we'll go to the logs. Here this is one of the department shares properties. If you go to the sharing, it's now shared. Okay, for here for example you can see that the NTFS share permissions, we have the IT, this is the department of IT. So the IT have full control NTFS permissions on the folder, and this is done using the script. Okay, so this is the first thing. If we go to the SMB share permissions, we will see also that it is shared already. So if we go there, just a moment, if we go to the sharing, we can see that's already shared. If we go to advanced, we go to advanced setting, just a moment. If you go to the sharing, again for example if you go to another department folder, we go to the security, we can see here that there is a group called M programs that will have modify permissions on this folder, and the IT group will have full control. Okay, so this is the 2 Active Directory groups and having NTFS share permissions. and also it will have SMB share permissions also. So if you open any folder again, we go to the sharing, but I need to add another group. So we need to add to the global department share, we need to add another group in the NTFS share permissions. We will add income global group to this shared folder, and give it full control, or give it modify, sorry. As for the sharing, we can see here that if you open the share and permissions, we can see that also there is two groups, one the IT and the other is the group, and they are given permissions. All of this done using the scripts. So now we have our department shares folder ready, and the user home directory folders also ready. We need to map every department share as a network mapped drive with the letter M and the name of the department on this mapped drive. We will go to the mapping policy and then we will edit. And we'll go to the user configuration and map drive. Policy or preferences, sorry. Go to the Windows setting and then you go to the drive maps. Here you can see that they are from my previous lab. Here we will go to one of them and then properties, and then for example this is the HR department share. We need to change the share name or the server, because this is a different server from a different lab, so we need to put the server name and the department. So here we can see, for example, this one of my shared department folders we call global logs. So we will copy this shared folder here and map it. So here we will put one of our department shares and we will name it, label it as global, and we will map it as an M drive, and we will choose show this drive in this two. And we will check the reconnect option, and then through the command tab we will tell him to map this shared folder to a certain Active Directory group. We need to check apply once and item targetizing. Here we will choose the income MF global group. This is the group or Active Directory group that this department share will be mapped to. So just a moment. So here we will have our global log group. And then we have apply once and do not reply and item level targetizing. And this is the first department share. It will appear as an M and it will be named global, and this is the second one. We will go also and take another department share which is named user logs. This is another department share, so we will copy it, and then this is the location of the department share, and this is the name of the department share, and it will be mapped as M drive, and the option of reconnect will be added, and then we will check apply once and do not reapply, and we will apply this mapped drive to a certain Active Directory group. This is the IT group, and we will do this. Apply and and then we will have another one, another department share which is called program logs. So we will take them, copy, and then we will map them, but as an N this time, not M. You can change the network map drive letters. So here we will change the location. Okay, and then common, and then targeting, and then we will change the it will be appearing to a certain Active Directory group, which is called encom programs or encom m programs. Okay, okay, and then after that we need to restart the server and see if the mapped drives will appear. Okay, we can change the drive letters. So now we need to restart the server and see the effect. We'll save the console. So we need to restart the server. Restart. So then we have restarted the server and we'll open it. Okay, then we will log in. So now as we can see that we will see that the user home directory folder will appear and the IT department share will appear as a mapped network drive. This will be an M. This is the IT department share and this is the user home directory folder, but we need to put quota on every one of them, so I can put certain size of data on both of these mapped drives, and we need to put a rule to prevent putting certain type of files on this mapped drive. For example, we need to block the audio files to be and video files to be put on this network mapped drives. Okay, so this will be done using the file server resource manager. Okay, so we will go to the file server resource manager. First we need something. We need to have the a certain mapped drive didn't appear for me because I didn't put all of my users in the encom global log group, so I need to add encom all grid group in the encom global log, so I have the global log share appear. when I restart we will see that. And then we need to have our file quota created and our file screening created. So we will have a quota on our department shares and our on our user home directory folders. So we right click and then create quota, and then we will choose the quota path. We will have 2 GB and we will choose auto apply template and create quotas on existing and new folders. This option we will use on our user home directory folders. Now we will choose here the D, and then we will go to the folder that contains our user home directory folders and then create. So every user home directory folder will have 2 GB of quota on his user home directory folder, and then we'll create another quota for the department shares, and we will tell him the location of the department folders, which is logs. So here we, for example, I will put 10 GB. So every department will have 10 GB, or all departments will have 10 GB of quota to put their data on. So the IT and the different departments will have 10 GB to share with each other to put their data on it. Here we'll have something called file screening, and then we will block audio and video. So let's return back here just a moment. So now we'll make something called file screening. Right click and create file screening. We will block audio and video files, and then we will block audio and video files on the user home directory folders and the department folders or department share folders. So this is one, and right click again and create, and this is 2. So if you need all of the scripts, guys, it will be in a Google Drive link in the description of the video. So all of the scripts I use, it will be in a Google Drive link in the description section in the video. So now we have done our quotas. If we refresh, we can see now that our quota is applied. Here is the 10 GB. Then we restart. We will see another department share will appear, which is the global log department share, because I was having a problem with the group itself. So with the end of this video, we have finished all what is related to the income.local domain. Now we will create a new domain called in a new forest. So we'll create a new forest with a new domain called income version 2.local, and then we will migrate all what is in the income.local domain to the new domain, which is income version 2.local domain. So this, using the Active Directory management tool, we will migrate all of the Active Directory objects from one domain to another, and by using PowerShell scripts and other methods, we will migrate the DHCP, will migrate the department shares, will migrate the user home directory folders, and everything from the income.local domain to the income version 2.local domain. So this is the last thing that we will do in this concerning the income.local domain. We will begin creating a completely new domain and begin our migration process. So you can see that we have our user logs, our global log, and our Active Directory user home directory folder, and this also will be 2 GB, is a limit of 2 GB. So this is all. I think it is paused already. So by this our video is ended. Hope this video was informative for you all, and I would like to thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.